We start with a new island that's been colonized by plants. How does that new island continue to develop into a functioning ecosystem? There are some predictable steps that most environments obey, which are represented by this figure. An empty island, whether that's because of its formation or because of some event that eliminated its animal species, the defaunation event in the figure below, will likely follow a predictable pattern as it accumulates new species. First, the non-interactive phase. Species numbers will increase from zero, but because there are a small number of species, those species won't routinely come into contact. Once the number of species begins to plateau, in other words, few additional species are arriving on the island enters the interactive phase. Species are now routinely interacting with each other. Some negative interactions will result in species extinctions, and the total number of species will decrease. Again, species on the island will reach an equilibrium in the interactive phase before moving on to the next phase. In the assortative phase, species interactions are an ongoing series of relationships in which species are not driven to extinction. Total species number will increase as new species arrive and coexist harmoniously in this phase. Finally, the island arrives in the evolutionary phase. Species numbers continue to increase, but speciation via adaptation to the abiotic and biotic pressures on the island now contribute to an increase in species richness, which is the number of species in an ecological community. In previous phases, the number of species increased only when new species arrived from elsewhere. Note too the changing timescales. For the non-interactive and interactive phases, we measure time in only a few generations. Once the island moves into the assortative phase, we jump an order of magnitude or two, so it may take hundreds or thousands of generations for the new island species to reach assortative equilibrium. Evolution will take even longer, so again, we're going to jump a couple of orders of magnitude. Evolution will likely only occur after a few thousands or tens of thousands of generations at the minimum. It may also take much longer.